As we have been discussing, especially that how this big shaper takes place. And also this they are called as antaraya, and this antaraya from Sutra number 30 onwards we have been seeing how they are the obstacles, and we saw that there are few obstacles and they are called 9 obstacles: Vyadhi, Sthana, Samsaya, Pramada, Alasya, Avirati, Bhranti Darshana, Alabdha Bhumiktam, and Anavastitattvam. We have discussed in details these 9 obstacles. So when these 9 obstacles comes, of course, you can see their symptoms. Because of that reason, dukkham comes, the pain, the worries, anxieties. And of course, there is depression, draumana, and anga kampanam, the body starts shaking, there is nervousness, and there is change in inhalation and exhalations. Means the breathing becomes irrhythmic. So if this is the case, we need to overcome that. So there are certain tricks and techniques one is supposed to adopt. And these tricks and techniques are called as preparatory stages to prepare the mind. And this is something to be practiced. And we discussed that there are 7 types of tricks. One can take up accordingly, starting with that developing one value, whether it is Maitri, being friendly, because generally when I am enemy, there is anger in me, that creates a lot of agitation in me, I cannot handle it. So in that case, I have to develop the sense of friendliness. Karuna, and of course, being compassion, being empathetic, and of course, also we need to be very mudita. So mudita means always being prasanna, being happy, comfortable, expressing one's own greatness, that you are comfortable. And moreover, also sukha dukkha punya punya vishayanam bhavanat upekshana, developing the sense of indifference. And of course, we saw if that doesn't work, you can go for pranayama. Suppose if that does not work, you can dwell upon any aspect or all the aspects, like focusing on your nose, tip of the nose, or tip of the tongue, middle of the tongue, or root of the tongue, or the palatal portion. Suppose if that is not, you are not comfortable with that, also a person can, the next sutra talked, Vishwaka ba Jyotir Smati iti. So that means the person has to work on to make one's oneself free from the thoughts that is related to grief, and how developing the sense of objectivity. And that also suppose does not work if the person is not capable, then says Bita Raga Vishayam Bachittam. Says look, definitely with reference to any Vishayam, any sense object, we do have raga, we have liking, also we have disliking. Disliking also another type of liking. However, says look, here the person is working to get rid of, to grow out of raga and dvesha. So here mainly dharana is involved. So through the dharana also this person can handle it. Suppose that doesn't happen, you can see, try to see the limitations of it. Next sutra says Swapna, Nidra, Jnana, Alambana. So two things try to highlight, because generally there is always a sense of loss because of two reasons. One is mainly the sense of loss. Sense of loss of what? Sense of loss, people, object, and not getting the comfort. That is also another type of loss. So in order to understand that, take the help of Swapna and Nidra. So Swapna, how everything is very fragile. Both pain and pleasure, both are fragile. Still you manage your life. You create and you manage. So also here this world. One need to understand very carefully. So need not bother, need not worry. And while discussing this, then says, look, also with reference to Nidra, even though you are comfortable, even though you are happy with the sleep, but that also comes to an end. So while discussing this thing, says, look, if this does not work, this is the last one I'm supposed to talk, that's why I'm bringing back everything. If all above 6 methods doesn't work, he says, look, va or yatha abhimata dhyanat. So here, this is what many people go crazy. Many people go wrong in yoga field. If we try to look at the translation of this particularly, we can say that by contemplating on whatever one is comfortable. Now, when he says yatha abhimata dhyanat ba, so abhimata vastuni, it can be anything. Now somebody says, look, I can dwell upon my likes and dislikes because I am comfortable with my likes. In fact, the whole thing I am doing because of that. So there, remember, things will go other way around. So here, we have to be very careful. When it says yatha abhimata, as it is comfortable, whatever is avishta, whatever is desirable, dearer to you, you are comfortable. So you need to dwell upon. Because while dwelling upon, you must not encourage. When I dwell upon my raga, I encourage. Because it's very difficult to discourage, always I encourage without my knowledge. So here, abhimata here was to be understood very carefully, that dwell upon that object which is external, and dwelling upon that one is able to stabilize one's own mind. So that means the object can be dearer to me, and that object, when I dwell upon, I will have my peace of my mind. For example, we give Chandra. Dwelling upon moon, especially in full moon, as you know, many people go crazy. Forget about other way around people, even if common people, sadhakas also go crazy during full moon day. Now, here we can say, when the mind is agitated, we say try to dwell upon moon. Interestingly, I can say that contextually, if you look at full moon in a graceful manner, that full moon gives you prosperity. Not only it brings down your mind. So, Purnima Chandra gives prosperity. So, better to look at, and when you dwell upon, when you spend time with this Purnima Chandra, full moon day, full moon night moon, you will discover not only mind becomes calm, also the prosperity comes. Also, one can dwell upon different, let us say, chakras. So when you dwell upon different chakras, now you are able to handle your mind. So all these different imaginary dharana or meditation comes from this sutra. But it is allowed to do it, provided if it helps your mind to stabilize, because these are the preparatory stages. So as we have been discussing 7 types of preparatory stages, now one has to work where one fits. Mainly dwelling upon one aspect, one can excel. But suppose, no, Swamiji, I want to try everything. Keep trying, don't worry, okay? Why everything? You can do circular, okay? After everything is over, again you can start from the beginning, okay? So keep trying. So don't worry, okay? Here the point is better to focus on one aspect and have mastery over. It's like many people do it, whether it's puja or japam. Especially if you go to any houses, whether it's South India, North India, East India, West India, makes no difference. And I start seeing here in West also, because same confusion. Puja room means what? Many gods and goddesses. And also in India, people know very well, all these business people. So you buy one incense stick, with incense stick, one god comes. You buy a dhoti, a sari, in that sari also a god comes. You understand? Yeah, of course, when you buy a gold, that fellow purposefully gives the god photo, so that in that there is the person's that shop name is being written. And sometimes they purposely, if you buy bigger things, they give a silver date, a coin or whatever, because there are different schemes they have. What I am trying to highlight here is, when you have many gods, really you cannot relate with a particular god. Very difficult. So also many people have many mantras. Start with this, start then that. I have not chanted this my as today is Monday. So Monday, Om Namah Shivaya, 108 times I am supposed to chant. I have not done it. You understand? Nothing wrong in it, which is very good, provided if you have time. But remember, better to focus on one. So then only you will have control over. Or else life will be very complicated. However, so while discussing this thing, the main purpose of all these things is what? The next sutra talks. Let us look at. Says beautifully that Paramanu Parama Mahatatva Twantosya Vashikaraha. He says, look, the purpose of everything is nothing. So the purpose of whole this 7 development, that whatever we do, whichever is convenient for me, I have picked up, is for Vashikaraha. So Vashikara means that I should have strength to keep my mind under my control. So strength to control. Now when that is the case, and for what? He says, look, from Paramanu, from a tiny object, a subtlest object, to Parama Mahatatva, taking to the biggest, let us say, the biggest or largest thing called Parama Mahat. So that means with reference to anything and everything, my mind must be stable. Not that my mind is only comfortable in bigger things, not with reference to smaller things. Or my mind is only comfortable with reference to smaller things, neither for bigger things. So here, as I am comfortable with smaller than some smallest, also I am comfortable with bigger than biggest. So that means it is the mastery over my mind. All these tricks or preparatory stages can be taken up, as we have discussed, based on one's own capabilities and of course need and the situation. So that means then only there will be some type of consistency. Problem, what happens? Most of the sadhanas, people do pick up out of some whims and fancies. Or sometimes people do pick up sadhanas out of helplessness, out of frustration, out of, let us say, depression. And this sort of sadhanas start very well. So they are present day startup companies. They start very well, but very difficult to sustain. Have you not observed this? Because there cannot be consistency. So when there is no consistency, they keep fluctuating. In fact, they keep trying different methods. Today, Monday, called Shiva Day. Tomorrow, Tuesday. So Tuesday is whose day? Ganapati or who? I don't know whose day it is. I have my own problem, okay? I should know all these things, okay? Wednesday, Thursday is Guru's day, this much I know, okay? Friday is for Stone's day. Saturday is called black day. You understand? New days I am putting it, okay? Saturday for Saturn, everything black, okay? You understand? That's called black day. Sunday is relaxing day. So Sunday is a serious day, but nowadays all over world, including Indians and Indians, those who are sitting in front of the computer today also, Sunday means, you understand? Yesterday I called one fellow. So just taking a little bit differently. That fellow never expected that I'll call him. So I asked, what was your breakfast? Did you have your breakfast? I said, did you have? Yes. Okay, fine. Then after a few minutes, I was talking, then I asked his son, how are you? Good. Did you have your breakfast? He took his own time. No. I said, why? How come you didn't have breakfast? Son says this very nicely, innocently. I got up late. Oh, okay. Then what about your father, Papa? And fellow answers, Papa woke up just 20 minutes before me. How did he know 20 minutes before? That's another point, okay? Maybe this fellow was lying down purposefully. Let Papa get up and do, then only I will get up. Children are capable, okay? Don't worry, okay? And later on, poor father was caught. He did not have breakfast, or he might have munched something, God knows, okay? However, so Sunday is a relaxing day. Remember, Sunday need not be relaxing day. And here in Italy, I noticed, Sunday is a supper day. You keep eating till your neck. Hey, at least if you do, Saturday is, that is also wrong. Monday, if you do good eating, that's you understand, okay? Not on Sunday, however, because in whichever place you are, I have to behave accordingly, okay? I am also going through. That's why indirectly I am pouring out my frustration in the class, okay? Which I cannot do in front of people. However, coming back to the point. So mind must be comfortable. Whether it is small or big. Whether it is a small problem or bigger problem. Whether it is a big thing to achieve or small thing to achieve, or with reference to small situation or big situation, small person or big person. How you can just see for yourself. When especially you are functioning, if you try to meet a person who may be your big boss, maybe 6-7 layers higher, but you do not know that person, but you meet maybe in the same premises, you will be very casual, you will be talking very nicely. Suppose if you know that person is big boss and you are not doing that much well in your company, what will happen to you? Just seeing him, there will be some type of instability in you or not. And that instability, will it create complication or not? I hope you understand how this body language, mind language works. Earlier you are unstable with reference to the company, but you did not know the big boss. You are comfortable, you can manage, maybe you will do better. Whereas if you are aware of it and also aware of your instability, and you know your instability is connected to that person, then what happens? That fear spoils the whole soul. So here this is to be understood, that a small or big problem, is not related to external world. It is related to not even my mind. It is related to the projection that I create. And to handle my projection, or I would rather say, not allowing one's own projected mind to blabber or to lament, I need to take the help of any preparatory method. That's why through the preparatory method, I need to spend valuable time, not some time, valuable time. For example, as I highlight, while getting up in the early morning, one need not push oneself. Never ever accelerate your mind in the morning. Because you don't have to worry. It's exactly like when engine get hot. Have you ever observed this point in the car? When the engine become hot, for example, by mistake you have put the heater on. So when you have put the heater on, that engine heating on, and after some time engine becomes super hot, you have forgotten. Let us say the old model cars nowadays, it will make all the noise. Now when you start driving the car, do you know what will happen? The accelerator will keep moving without putting accelerator. It's an amazing thing. Once the engine becomes hot, you really don't have to put pressure on accelerator. Automatically the engine starts pulling. It's an amazing thing happens. So as this happens with reference to the car, same thing also happens to the mind. So when the mind is hot, when there is a lot of confusion, definitely you discover the mind starts moving very fast. That's why they say very nicely, if a person is not able to sleep by 10 to 11, definitely you can understand the person definitely is having stress or anxiety. Because only the stress and anxiety will not allow the person to go to bed 10 to 11, maximum up to 12. We have a pattern, very careful pattern. For example, if you are not able to sleep 1 to 2, some people cannot sleep. That means there is some emotional problem. There is some type of rejection. Because when there is rejection in oneself, deep within rejection, that person cannot sleep even if 1 to 2. 12 to 2 is very difficult to sleep. We have like every sleeping pattern has its own psychological impact. However, what I am highlighting here is that I need to see my mind in such a way that I can really bring down my mind, make my mind available for me, not for anybody. My problem is I always try to make my mind available for others. So when I make my mind available for others, for example, if I make my mind available for you, any one of you, suppose if you are not available, what will happen to my mind? Now my mind becomes restless. Either I feel rejected or I will try to relate with another person. So if I relate with another person, there is some type of discomfort between you and me. And that is what happens many people in life. So here what is to be done, that I need to look at my mind let my mind be available for myself, and when I am able to handle my vikshepas. So this vikshepa to be handled very carefully in every moment. We say beautifully, it is better not to walk than walking or traveling with a wrong person. Sometimes it is really better not to walk. Imagine if you start walking with a wrong person in your life, you are doing many types of damages, many level, not types, many level of damage. So that's why it is sometimes better to eat and sleep. Be Kumbhakarna, you understand? Be Kumbhakarna rather than being Ravana. Because whatever it may be, the Kumbhakarna was a better guy. In fact, he was guiding Ravana, don't do this, don't do that. But however, as a brother, I am here to support you, even if you are wrong. That is another level. So here, I need to look at this very carefully to make sure that I am available or my mind has no problem with reference to anything that I do in my life. So with this, I think today I am going to stop because I did not look at the next sutra, which is going to talk very nicely. Kshinaha brutehe avijatasya meva. So the sutra is very interesting sutra, as I have not seen, because here called samapatti. So this is a good how this samapatti happens. So little bit explanation is required, which we'll be seeing day after tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.